Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Just thought I'd return to you tonight for this Tuesday album review for season 7, episode 5, that I wanted to return to you for. So, this one is going to be a rant one. So, we're going to talk about an album I reviewed in 2018 and I regret reviewing now for Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy album. So, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for her debut studio album that came out 7 years ago and let you know my thoughts on Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, her debut studio album. So let's dive into this album review. Now this came out April 6th of 2018. From what I've listened to, let's get started. So Get Up 10 is a bad song. Her rapping in it was cringy as hell. It's just the way she was rapping it. There were some moments where the beat was solid, but the problem with this song is her rapping and how it executes. So 2.75 out of 5. Such a terrible track. Then comes Drip featuring Migos, which is another terrible ass song. I'd give it a 1.5 out of 5. I really didn't like this track. It sounded awful. And just the way this song was mixed and how they were singing drip, drip. And then it just repeated so much and it got clusterly and utterly annoying. So it's not the worst track on the record, but it is a bad song. 1.5 out of 5. Even Migos couldn't even save the track, even though they suck ass from what I've listened to. And I know Takeoff passed away in their group or whatever, and that's why they had to disband. They disbanded after his passing, and that I'll say may he rest in peace for sure, because that was pretty sad in that light of tone in a way. But other than that, the song still sucked. So 1.5 out of 5. Bickenhead is a terrible track. I'm just not feeling for this song. The way Cardi B is rapping it and then sounding awfully and utterly cringy in this track with her rapping. This track didn't work. Even the sexualized lyrics in this were just filthy and disgusting. So this is abysmally very bad. 1.25 out of 5. Fuck this track. It sucks. Bodak Yellow is another one that I'm just like, does this bitch ever stop flapping her gums when she raps? So it sounds terrible, and it's utterly cringy, and I'm just not feeling for this track. Another 1.5 out of 5. Then comes Be Careful, another terrible song that I'm not really feeling for. And she does singing in this track that sounds like cringe and just utter garbage. So she can't sing for shit. So it just doesn't sound good with the execution. So, and the way she raps from time to time, it sounds like, oh my god, this Bronx lady or whatever is trying to rap and all that. And it's like, yeah, you may say you're from the Bronx and all that, but you're not a very good artist, in my opinion. So, 1 out of 5 for Be Careful. It's terrible. Best Life featuring Chance the Rapper. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video. I'm sorry about that, guys. My mom was talking to me for a second. She asked me if I was making tea or whatever, which I'm planning on it pretty soon. But to get back into it, Best Life featuring Chance the Rapper. Not a good song. I'm not feeling for this track. The way Cardi B sings it and raps it, and overall, Chance the Rapper didn't even do good in this track either. It was just terribly mixed, and the collaboration with this track didn't flow very well. So 2 out of 5. I Like It featuring Bad Bunny and J Balvin is a really horrible track. I'm just annoyed by this song and how it's sounding, how Cardi B is rapping, and then she sings a little with her rapping in the chorus, and it just doesn't execute well. Even J Balvin didn't even sound good. Bad Bunny didn't sound good either. This was a terribly mixed track, and one of the most overrated tracks that kind of got annoying for certain advertisements you listen to, with like phones advertisements that had this song playing in their ad, and it got really annoying, or it was some kind of ad they were playing it as, but it was terrible, this song. So 0.75 out of 5. Ring featuring Kalani was the only mediocre track that I could say I dig a little, but I don't like. But I still think it's mediocre at best. So it's a 3.75 out of 5. At least Kalani made the song sound good. And overall, when Cardi's rapping in it, it's just terrible execution. So I'm very annoyed by this track a little, but I wouldn't say it's the worst thing she's put out. So at least Kalani saved the track from totally sucking. So 3.75 out of 5. Moneybag is a very bad song. She sounds utterly annoying in this track, and just the rapping in it, and just the money bag thing that she repeats in repetition. It is so bad. It is just terrible. It really sucks, so I'd give it a 0 out of 5. Fuck this abysmal, utter garbage kind of track. It can go straight in the dumpster and live and rot in that dumpster. Bartier Cardi featuring 21 Savage is another 0 out of 5. Not feeling for this track. Even 21 Savage sounded terrible in the song. This was a very poor mixed track, and there was nothing good about this track. Nothing amazing to really reminisce on this track. It is awful. So 0 out of 5. She Bad is annoying as hell. This one really got on my nerves with how YG's saying she bad, and this is what I'm gonna say towards this song. You suck, this song fucking sucks. So it really fucking sucks. And 0 out of 5 for this one. Through Your Phone was a disappointing track. I think Cardi B's mixing with her auto-tune voice in this track is terrible, and her rapping in it just sounds cringy too. Not feeling for it, so 2.75 out of 5. Not the worst track, but it is a disappointing one. And finally, we get to I Do featuring SZA, which is another bad song. SZA didn't even sound good in this track, and unfortunately, and I do like her singing, but I just didn't like her, how she was sounding in this track, along with Cardi B sounding terrible in this song. So 1.75 out of 5 for the closing track. I Do is not very special, not memorable. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Cardi B Invasion of Privacy coming back to it again, not a great record. This is going to get a very low rating for sure. I think Cardi B sounded terrible on this album. This album was poorly produced and mixed, and this was the worst fucking thing I've heard. One of the worst fucking things I've heard. It's not as bad as Scene Queen's material over there, but this is probably this runner-up to being very bad. She's definitely a runner-up and a contender for one of the worst records of 2018. But overall, if I were to give this throwback album review and this Tuesday album review a score, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. Fuck this record. It really sucks. Cardi B really sucks. I do not like her personally, and I do not like her rapping style and all that shit. This song, this whole entire record was a waste of time and waste of my free time, and I gave it a shot again to throw it into this Tuesday album review to give you guys a rant on this and what I think of it as of now in 2025, because I know her new album's dropping in 10 days, so not very excited, but we're still gonna get it, called Am I the Drama. So, yeah. 1 out of 10 for Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy. This was a terrible record. I was not a fan of this album. And with that being said, I will be returning to you for more reviews as soon as I can, but until then, thanks for watching, and you guys have a good night.